Welcome back to 2SkeGEEKS. It's your boy Will Call here with you, and I'm 2SkeGeeked up to bring to you today. One of my favorite things would be to do an artist highlight, and today's artist highlight, I'll have two artists that I want to talk about. One begins in the silver and bronze age, so that would be from the 40s through the 60s and some of the early 70s. So this artist, she is a monster in the game and was for a long time, as you just heard me give the breadth of time. And actually, she went beyond the 70s into the early 80s. This artist here, she was born in 1929 and she passed away from us. We lost her in 2018. Her name is Marie Severin. She and her artwork and her ideas and her character development and her character designs have been with us for a long time. She has worked in EC Comics, the notoriously known for horror comics and in some cases sometimes romance. And then she went where she's really most widely known for those who are like my age and a little bit older, in the works for Marvel Comics. That's where she really kind of like just blew up and got her chops in. And so I will share with you many iconic covers that either she drew directly, or she was a colorist, or she even added some changes to make the covers I guess editorially sound for public consumption. And one of the most iconic covers of all time is one I'm talking about, where she drew just the head and the face of one of the most iconic covers for comic books ever. And I'll share that with you in a second. The other artist is Razzah, but I'll get to him, and we've talked about him in the past. But for now, let's concentrate on Marie Severin. So here's a picture of Marie in her older years, as she probably got ready to retire, and it looks like she's at a comic book convention, and she's cited by, on the pictures that you see, some of her works. So she was a contributor to the design of Spider-Woman, and also she worked with Steranko in Strange Tales, more than likely as the colorist. And I can't quite blow this up, but I'll have to look at it later. And if I'm wrong, you can correct me. I have no problem with that. But she worked with Jim Steranko in Strange Tales in this book here with the Mindless Ones. So going forward, I also want to go talk about this. This can be a resource for you about Marie. This is a book about her by Dewey Cecil, and you can look this up yourselves so far as the works of Marie Severin. And of course, there are lots of other sites, and I have sites that I will put into this as subtitles as I'm talking about this. I'll give you some of the sites that you can look at and some of the resources that I use to find information about Marie Severin. But I want to now look at some of the covers. So beginning with this Avengers cover. This is Avengers King Size, which she is the artist for, or the colorist for, in conjunction with one of the Buscema's. And you can tell the work is one of the Buscema, John or Sal, is most likely John on the Avengers, but she was the colorist here. Alrighty. And so then we've got, on this Captain America cover, we've got where she is the colorist on this one as well. And then on this Fantastic Four, we've got where she is not she's a colorist in and works with Joe Sinnott, one of my favorite artists of all time, because it's on one of my favorite books of all time, of the Fantastic Four. But she worked with Joe Sinnott as well, and I want to make sure that I highlight the other artists and or writers that she worked with, and I'm just going to name a few. Stan Lee, of course, Herb Trimpe, Jim Steranko, Jim Starlin. Jim Starlin. I'm sorry, Jim. Forgive me for mispronouncing your name. Joe Sinnott, and her husband, John Severin. And I also mentioned the Buscema brothers, Sal and John. So, alrighty. So now I'm pulling up some of her early works, where she is the artist in EC Comics. This The Haunt of Fear book here. So she is one of the early artists on the Tales from the Crypt, and also other horror-related books, as I mentioned before, about EC Comics. And then we've got this is one of hers, one of the iconic Incredible Hulk 102. This is all her. The artwork, the drawing, the pencils, the colors, it's all Marie Severin. Alrighty. And then we've got another iconic cover for her with the Incredible Hulk 105. And you're beginning to tell the style of the face that is hers and that she has mastered with the Hulk. And then sticking with the most, as I said, the most iconic cover of all time so far as the Hulk is concerned. It is a Jim Steranko body with a Marie Severin head and face. And so, again, the story that I read behind this and reading the background on this cover is the fact that Jim Steranko's head and face didn't make the editorial cut because they felt it was too fierce. To quote the words that I read, as he had veins popping from the face and sweat pouring from the face, and so the editor felt that was too rough for the young readers. So they gave the job to Marie to do the face. Jim Steranko didn't like it, so far as what I read, and I'm sure his head and face were probably awesome as well. But this is the face, and in conjunction with Jim Steranko's Hulk body, that we live with and know to this very day. Alrighty. And so she was also known for this Cull cover. This is her artwork on Cull the Conqueror, #1. So again, going back to this Silver Age and Bronze Age, those of us who grew up getting books off the comic book stands when books were, for me, 25, 30 cents. And this goes back a little further, a little bit beyond that with the 15-cent cover. So she's got some good Silver Age muscles behind her in her artwork. And when I mentioned about stories so far as contributing to major stories and characters, this is her contribution with Jim Steranko to create the Living Tribunal. And so she contributed to this creation, and the Living Tribunal will be a major character going forward in the Marvel MCU. Is one of my favorite characters so far as like a living library of what happens in recorded history. Is this deity shown of the Living Tribunal, one of my favorite characters. And that Living Tribunal, the Living Tribunal debuts first appearance in Strange Tales #157. I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. And then we've got her work on Captain Marvel. So Captain Marvel, the original, as a Kree warrior. This is not the Captain Marvel that we are familiar with, but as you saw even in the Captain Marvel movie with with Brie Larson, that the Kree in her original character was in a similar costume to this that we see right here. And so this was the original version of Captain Marvel, and which Marie was part of those pencils here. And Marvel Superheroes, number 12. And that Marvel Superheroes was a series of books, and you can find them yourselves. So you can do the research and if you want to try to find it. But Marvel Superhero was one of the things where they would debut and test new characters into the Silver Age Marvel canon. So these were test characters, and Captain Marvel is just that, a test character in this book here. And then you have where she was part of the design of Spider-Woman. Yes, the costume design of Spider-Woman. Marie was part of that original team to design the look of Spider-Woman, or Jessica Drew, back in the day. And then we've got some other books because she was so iconic on. It was one of my favorite looks of characters, the Submariner. And this is one of my top covers ever. I think for those who grew up in my time, this was an amazing cover that she did. Stingray against the Submariner, or Namor the Submariner. Just a beautiful cover. This is all her right here. The pencils, the whole nine. And she did some amazing covers for the Submariner in conjunction with her husband, John. But this is all her. And this cover here for the Submariner coming up is for Submariner number 38. This is in conjunction with her husband, John. This one in particular for sure is with John and Marie together. And again, those covers for the Submariner were just outstanding. Just outstanding eye catchers, especially when you're going as a kid just to go to the newsstand to see what was going to catch your eye. And those covers for the Submariner were always beautiful. And next to the last one I'm going to show you is her work here on this Thor cover, number 186. And just to make sure that you understand that she could not just draw male hero characters well, but also female. So this is just a beautiful, beautiful cover here with Thor's sister of Death. And I can't think of the name off the top of my head now. It just escapes me for now. And of course, she was in the movie for Ragnarok when Thor's sister broke the hammer and all of that. But right now, the name just won't come to me. So, Goddess of Death and Odin's daughter. And last cover I will show, and it's not really a cover. Forgive me. It is its internal work. It's the first page of Tales from the Crypt. Number 1, it's an internal cover that is Marie Severin, and this is all her, and just incredible work that she's done. And so I'm just looking forward to some of the things that people will do in the future, as we talked with Rodney Barnes last week about his work he's going to do with Snoop, kind of like as the Crypt Keeper. But thinking about that spinover, a modern work that was spun off from the things that Marie Severin did back in the 50s in EC Comics. So just wanted to go with that. And so to save time, now I'm going to move into the other artist, into the modern time with Razzah. And so going into Razzah, we've got, Razzah is just incredible. And again, I'll share with you some of the sites, because his work and his thoughts can be primarily found on Instagram and also on Twitter. But for the most part, Instagram is where his artwork can be found. And then, of course, you can Google it up too, and there are images of things like that. That's what I did because I'm not a member of Instagram. But what I did was go on Google to find some of the work. And also, I will include into this is an article by the website for comic books called CBSI, Comic Book Speculators and Investment. They did a great article that you should definitely read, but I'm not going to delay it by my talking any longer. I'm going to show some of Razzah's work. And as a matter of fact, I don't want to use that one just quite yet. I want to use some of the first work that we're familiar with in this Black Bolt cover. As just the cover, the colors, and it's just what Razzah does with the pencil and digital painting is just sickeningly good. And so I just want to go forward. This is another work. I'm highlighting some of the hip hop covers that he did for Marvel back, and I guess the hip hop covers started in, like, I believe 2015, late 2015, and through 16, and maybe up through 18. They may have done about 3 years worth of hip hop covers, but these are some of his. With the Champions #1, I just showed you Black Bolt #1. I've shown you this book from my collection. In particular, I held this up, and I can't remember what episode, but I have this book itself from the Contest of Champions. Now, this is not a hip hop cover, but again, his paints, his digital paints over his pencils are just ridiculously good. So well done, so smooth. Another hip hop cover for Hulk #1. I call it Hulk / She-Hulk because this is where we've talked about with the Jeff DeCal work that Jeff did. Well, this is one of the variants of Hulk when they made She-Hulk the Hulk. This is when the version of Bruce Banner was dead, and the mantle of the Hulk fell onto Jennifer Walters' She-Hulk, but they just carried she carried the Hulk mantle so far as the titles at that time. And again, so this is like 2016 or 17 when the Hulk was dead. Okay, and then we've got this Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, and I think this is one that will be coming out pretty soon. Keep your eyes peeled for this one. I know I will be trying to get this book. I believe this comes out in August. I believe it's pretty soon. So I can't wait to see and get my hands on this one and the other variants for Ghost Rider. I'm a huge Ghost Rider fan. And then Luke Cage covers. And those were, again, from the 2016 or 2017, around the same time when Luke Cage came out on Netflix. So they gave him a series during that time. And as you see in the cover, in the bottom right corner, with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. were still on the air at the time. So that gives you a range of time to what books to look for when you go look for them. That, during that time, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was on television. Okay, and so of course Luke Cage was on Netflix at that time. Another beautiful cover of Luke Cage that Razzah's done. Just unique, awesome covers. And then this is one he's done for Miles and recent, and so because Marvel procured the Predator character. And so now they're using him on the covers. And so this is one of those covers that they have Miles fighting the Predator. Just an awesome cover that Razzah has just killed. This is one from the Miles Morales, the 2020 variants. They had a bunch of 2020 variants, even on Iron Man and a few other characters. But this is a 2020 variant of Miles Morales. This beautiful cover. I think I got like 2 copies of this book here. I can't wait to get my hands on that other book that I just showed you with Predator, but I'll get a few copies of that one. But I have a couple copies of this one with Miles 2020 variant. And this is a Moon Knight book that Razzah's done. And just amazingly well done of Mr. Knight, one of the many characters in Moon Knight's head. And he's schizophrenic and multi-personal multi-personal personality disorder that Moon Knight carries within himself, as you've seen from the TV show. So this is a beautiful Mr. Knight of Moon Knight character. Alrighty, and then this is one of his Batman character with this is just like Batman Beyond, and yet with a cape. Just a nice creative change that Razzah's put together with Batman Beyond, but with a cape. And I'm not familiar what art this is from or what title this is from, but I got this from the from Google so far as his work, and I just wish I knew where this is from, and maybe someone who knows can tell me where it's from, or what the title what the title of the work is that this artwork comes from. It is just a beautiful cover, action cover, and then we've got this Spider-Man variant of Shang-Chi. This it's just so good. His ability to create unique and yet very relatable artwork to different cultures. In this case, with the Chinese lanterns and Spider-Man crawling, walking on the ropes and strings of those Chinese lanterns is just amazing. I love this cover. I gotta find it. I don't have this one. This is one I gotta get. And then this is his latest, as the latest volume of She-Hulk started probably a few months ago. No, maybe almost a year ago, maybe just under a year ago. But this is Razzah's cover of She-Hulk, and again, the painted digital work, exquisite. You just can't beat it. And these are just some of the. And I love this cover here because, of course, for those of us who remember Bruce Leroy of the Last Dragon movie that Motown did. Well, this is the villain, Show Enough, and I must say with Razzah, his ability to capture human faces of characters and people that we are familiar with in mainstream media. His ability to do them spot on is just it's an uncannily good talent that he has. And so, Show Enough. And I'm going to go. This is some of the work he's done on Star Wars. This is the Crimson Reign series, and these are 5 different books, 1 through 5 of Crimson Reign, and the covers all connect. And I have that full run of those connecting covers. Now, what I want to try to do is at least get that series 2 or 3 times over, because man, Razzah, he smashes it in the Crimson Reign for Star Wars. Okay, this is work that he's done with Doctor Strange. Again, his faces, the details, and then the other, just the scenery. It's just amazing. He has no weakness in his game at all. The dude is good. And then we've got with his Weapon X, the digital paints. Wow. He also did Old Man Logan. There are covers that he did for the Old Man Logan series that came out around this time. As you can see, Logan is older, but I didn't snatch any of the Old Man Logan covers. But do yourself a favor, find that title for Razzah covers, and you can't miss when you procure those. And for those with the wrestling flavor, this Iron Sheik for the WWE is just sick. It's just ridiculous how good he is. And last but not least on Razzah is one of my favorite characters from wrestling as a kid, and that's George the Animal Steel. Oh, those last 2 covers, man, I've got to get those. I do not have them. I would like to get. I've got to work on trying to get those as well. George the Animal Steel and the Iron Sheik. I do have one with the with Junkyard Dog, and I also have one with Andre the Giant. But these two right here, the last two that I've shown you, I do not have them yet, but I will make a priority to get them. And so I'm going to try to get ready to wrap up this show in about 10 minutes or less, because I want to talk about books that I've procured lately and for sure that I will read. So I've already covered artist. Now I want to cover. I'll stick in the artist vein. I'll stick in the artist vein for one more book that came in mail call this week, and it is related to the San Diego ComiCon, in which I will put links. I will put links into this subtitle and also to the details of the show as well, because San Diego ComiCon is going on as we speak, and so this artist is one that he's got a great book covered for, and a great San Diego Comic-Con version of Batman. This one came in the mail. I had to have this one. It's just a beauty. Alex Ross. And we've talked about him many times because he's just that good. As a matter of fact, this is Alex Ross on this comic book box right behind me here. That's Alex Ross's work there. But this Batman on Batman 125, it's just come out. San Diego Comic-Con version. There are many covers for Batman 125 right now, but this is the one I wanted to have in my collection. I might get a couple more of the different artists out there, but this one I had to have, and this is one I'll get graded for sure. Okay, and so then going forward, so far as new books that came out that I picked up because I thought they were iconic, and they came out in the last 2 weeks. This Betty and Veronica. It just came out, and it is creeping up in value very quickly. I would recommend you maybe try to find this one. What is it called? Summer Surf Party. Betty and Veronica #1, Summer Surf Party. And then I found at the local comic book store The Last Ronin, #5, that has just come out. And I haven't even bagged and boarded it yet. So I got to make that happen today. And then from last week when we talked with Rodney Barnes, and this is another variant of The Mandalorian. And what makes this one unique is because of the fact that the two characters that he's written books on, IG-88 and The Mandalorian, are both on the cover. And of course, IG-88 is in The Mandalorian itself. In the I think it's season 1. Yeah, it's season 1. IG-88 shows up in Mandalorian season 1. So, but he's also written IG-88 and Star Wars Bounty Hunters. And then this is a mail call that came in. Okay, this is the first appearance or first cover of the Goblin Queen. And then last book of the procures for this week is this Daredevil variant by Joe Quesada. And the reason why I really wanted to get this one by Joe Quesada, because I believe Joe Quesada is leaving Marvel, and so I wanted to get one of his last works that he's done for Marvel as he gets ready to depart ways with them. And so the last thing I want to highlight, writers. Since I've been on the artist and I've been on hot books for the week, I want to now go into a writer that I want to read, and that is N.K. Jemison. And the book that she did for DC is called Far Sector. And so I'm pulling it up. This is the first, this is Far Sector #1. And Far Sector is done by N.K. Jemison and Jamal Campbell. Jamal Campbell is another fantastic artist. the coloring that he does and his coloring styles is similar to Razzah, and yet unique. And I'm not knocking one or the other for what they do. It's because they both do their own thing very beautifully. But Jamal Campbell, N.K. Jemison, I'm beginning to read these. I have the whole series of The Far Sector that N.K. Jemison did. And the main character as a Green Lantern is Sojourner Muline, or they call her Joe for short, Joe Muline. And I'm really looking forward to it. And since I have the whole series, but they're all spread throughout my collection in the archives, I cheated and bought the trade paperback for Far Sector so I can just read it all in one shot, one kill. And I got that from, what is this? Bargain bookstores, bargainbookstores.com at a discounted price. As I see that DC itself, DC is selling it so far, marking it at $30, and it has a price of $30. But I bought this for $24 from Bargain Books, and so recommend you save yourself a few dollars at bargainbookstores.com. And if you want to, we'll talk about the book as we go along, and I'm looking forward to it because N.K. Jemison has won Hugo Awards for science fiction for her book writing, and I'm really excited about seeing her work in this comic book with Sojourner Muline as the Green Lantern. And so I want to thank you guys for tuning in with us this week. I appreciate you. This is 2SkeGEEKS. I want you to take the time to be geeked up about our hobby. Hit the like button, and I'll talk with you soon. Okay, howdy.